Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we have to start with this example 9.17 and we will try to see that how we can actually calculate the interest rate. Okay. So in the example 9.1, so this one is an earlier example that we have solved earlier. An investment plan for retirement was introduced. It involved investing $5,000 per year for 40 years leading to the retirement. The plan then provided $67,468 per year for 20 years of the retirement income. What yearly interest rate was used in the valuation? So we have to first calculate what is an interest rate, and then how much money was invested in the retirement plan before withdrawals begin. Okay, and then we have to calculate how much is the money invested in the retirement plan before the withdrawals. Okay, so let us solve this example. This example basically has two parts, and the main interest is to calculate what is an interest rate. So how we can actually calculate the interest rate? We will use the timeline throughout the retirement, and then how much time would be taken for the after the retirement. Okay, so we can start with this one. We can actually we have the value for the annuity, which is $5,000 that the person will submit for 40 years. So the A is $5,000. The value for the N number of years to be 40, and after 40 years we will see that what should be the final values after 40 years. So depending on the annuity and the number of years that is provided to us. So we will go back to the equation 9.11, which is given to you on the slides. So here what we see here, we can use an equation like this one, in which we can have the relationship between the final amount with the annuity. Okay, so annuity can be multiplied on the right hand side, and interest rate we can actually find it from here. Okay, so we will use this equation 9.11 and then see what we have. Okay, okay. Now here what we see here, we have used the equation 9.11. We will put the values for the annuity and the equation that we have seen, 1 plus I with the power 40, because we are trying to see what is the final value after 40 years, and this is the equation that can be used. And when you rearrange the equation, it will be in this form: $5,000 multiplied by 1 plus I with the power 40 minus 1 divided by I. Now once you have the part 1, and we have seen that what should be the final income or the final value after 40 years, we can actually use this equation. And we can also use another equation. If you see the question statement, the plan then provided $67,000 for $68 per year for 20 years. So this is the amount that we have in the form of annuity for the next 20 years. So we can take this one as a second part of the question, and we will see that the annuity which is given here, that is $67,468, and the number of years, and that is equal to 20. Now we have to make the comparison to estimate what should be the present value based on the annuity that is given and to the number of years that we specified after the retirement. So we will use the equation 9.14 from this table. So 9.14, it basically compares, if you want to see what is the present value based on the annuity, and on the right hand side you can have the information on the interest and the number of years. So what we can actually do here, we can use this equation again, and we will write down the equation in the form of present value, and depending on the annuity that we can have after 40 years, but for the time of 20 years. Okay, so this is a part that we see that how much is the future value after 40 years, and this is the part if we have the $67,468 present value, then how much this one is an annuity that we can have after 40 years, and we can have this annuity for 20 years, and then what should be the present value. Okay, so from this analysis what we see here, we can make an equalization between F40 and P. Okay, so when F40 and P will be equivalent, you can compare these two equations together to get the value for the interest rate, which comes out to be 0.060 or 6%. Okay, so now once you have the value for this 0.060 or 6%, you can put the value for this I within this equation or this equation to get the actual value for this f of n. Okay, so if you want to estimate what is the value, how much money was invested in the retirement plan before the withdrawals began, so we can actually use this equation where you can put the value for I to be 0.060 and you would be getting the number $774,000 respectively. Okay, the interest rate of 6% per annum represents a relatively low interest rate involving small risk. So from here, what we can actually see that if the person simply save money for 40 years, he could have like $200,000 at the end of 40 years. But if he makes some small investment with the profit rate of 6%, then he would have $774,000 at the end of his retirement. Okay, so small investment and with a small value for the interest can have the better final payment that you can have investment in the earlier time. Now, let us talk about the inflation and what we have here. As a result of inflation, a dollar set aside, not invested, will purchase fewer goods and services in future than the same dollar would do today. So this is the value, this is actually the definition of inflation, that the amount of money that you have today, you can buy more items, and if you simply keep that money aside without any investment, then for the same amount of money you cannot buy the same thing in the future. Okay, so we can explain this one in a way that today maybe you can buy one maybe the computer at $1,000. Okay, and maybe you can keep that $1,000 separately for 5 years, and after 5 years maybe you cannot buy the same the laptop or the computer with the same amount of money due to the inflation. Okay, so every time there is some inflation every year, and your buying power would reduce. Okay, so it is better to keep an investment rather than keeping that money aside into the bank without any gains. Okay, in chapter 7 and 8, it was seen that inflation of equipment, labor, and fuel costs could be tracked by the use of the cost indexes. So we have used the cost indices earlier to incorporate the inflation. It is sometimes desirable to express these trends in the rate of inflation. Okay, so basically CEPCI that we discussed earlier, that represents the inflation. Okay, this can be done using the cost indexes as follows. So now we will see that how we can actually calculate the inflation. Okay, so what we have to do here, CEPCI, it represent you the cost index for the years for which you want to calculate. For example, this one, if you look at this one, J plus N, J is the arbitrary year, and represent you the time span in the year. So maybe if you want to calculate the cost of any specific equipment into 2020, now CPCI for the 2020, and the same equipment which you might bought in the year 2015. Okay, so that would represent CPCI. Okay, so for the new year, CEPCI, and you have to compare it this one with the CEPCI for the previous year. Okay, 1 plus f represent you here the average inflation rate over the time span, and n represent you the number of years. Okay, so let us solve one question related to this inflation, and we'll see that how we can have the value for this inflation or the average inflation. Okay, what was the average rate of inflation for the cost associated with building a chemical plant over the following periods? Okay, so there is one chemical plant that is built through 1995 through 2001. So we have to see the inflation here, and then we have to see the inflation through the year 2001 through 2007. Okay, for the first part, what we have to do here, we have to get the value for the CEPCI for 1995 year, for the year 2001, and for the year 2007. So once we have the CEPCI indexes for these years, we can actually use this equation to get the value for the inflation. So how we can actually do it here? So for example, if we are considering the part A, so CEPCI for the year 2001, we can have this one on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we can have the CEPCI for the year 1995, that is 381. and then 1 plus inflation f with the power number of years that we can have between 2001 to 1995, 6 years. Then we can actually solve this question to get the value for f. That comes out to be 0.006 or 0.6% per annum. Similarly, we can solve the part B here. For the year 2007, we can have the CEPCI value 500 we can have on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we have to see the value for the CEPCI for the year 2001, which is 394 multiplied by 1 plus f. So you can see the difference between the years from 2007 to 2001, that is 6. So you can put it here, and then the value for f, it comes out to be 0.049 or 4.9% per annum. Okay, so what we see here, during this time 2001 to 2007, the inflation was very high, which may be around 5%. However, in the year 1995 to 2001, the value for the inflation, it is very low. Okay, so this is how we can actually compare the inflation between different years, and that would definitely impact the capital or the purchasing value for any plant. Okay. Now, to understand the inflation, it is necessary to distinguish between cash and the purchasing power. Now, having the cash is one thing and the purchasing power is the another thing. Okay. So, for example, you can have $1,000 today, and from that $1,000 you can buy like 5 items. Okay. But if you keep that $1,000 separately in your home, then maybe after 5 years you cannot buy 5 items from that $1,000. Maybe you can buy only 2 items. Okay, so that is where the inflation impacts. Okay, so cash and purchasing powers, these are the two different things. Okay, inflation decreases this purchasing power with the time. Okay, with the value of some inflation, the purchasing power would be decreased with the time. All the previous discussions on A, annuity, principal amount, present value, and F, which is the final value, are given in terms of cash and not in terms of relative purchasing power of the cash. Okay, so earlier whatever the questions we solved, we actually simply talk A, P and F in terms of the cash. Okay, we didn't consider the purchasing power of that cash. Okay, what does it mean? That we didn't include the inflation in the calculations. The term F dash is introduced here, which represent the purchasing power of the future cash. Okay, so F dash, it will represent you the purchasing power of the future cash. Okay, and we will see that how much is the difference of the cash that we can have today, and with the same cash, what should be the actual worth after the given time. This purchasing power can be estimated using equation 9.16. Okay, so F dash here, which is the future purchasing power of the cash, F dash. F is the simple future value. 1 plus f is the inflation, and n is the number of years. We can actually modify this equation a little bit more, substituting the equation for f in terms of p from equation 9.5. Okay, so we can simply put the equation for the compounded interest, so which was equal to f, that is equal to p multiplied by 1 plus I with the power n, and then we can actually solve this or simplify this equation into this form. Next, what we can do here, equation 9.17 is now written in the terms of an effective interest rate I dash, which includes the effect of inflation. Okay, now the same equation for the that we have earlier, this equation. Okay, we can actually write down this I in the form of effective interest rate. Okay, so if we are having the effective interest rate, we can write down this one in the form of I dash, where I dash will be equal to 1 plus I divided by 1 plus f minus 1, or 1 minus f divided by f. Okay, so ultimately we would be having this equation back. Okay, but now with the value for the effective interest rate. Okay, now for small values of f less than 0.05, equation 19 can be approximated by I dash, that is equal to 1 minus f. Okay, so if the value for the inflation, it is less than 0.05, then you can only use the direct equation I dash, that is equal to I minus 1. I is the inflation, I is the interest, and f is the inflation. Okay, so this will give you the effective interest rate. Okay, by including the inflation. Example 9.19 demonstrates the incorporation of inflation into the calculation. So let us see what we have in this example. In this example, consider the effect of inflation on the purchasing power of the money set aside for the retirement in the example 9.17 previously. The amount of cash available at the time of retirement in 40 years was calculated to be $774,000. Okay, this provides an income of $67,468 for 20 years. Now, what we have seen in the example 9.17 earlier, here we calculated the value that if you invest the amount of money that you save every year and you get some 6% profit, then at the end of 40 years you would be having this much money. Okay, and then you can have the annuity of $67,468 per year. Now we have to continue with this example again here. Okay, previously, the amount of cash available at the time of retirement in 40 years was calculated to be $774,000. This provided an income of $67,468 for 20 years. Okay, so this one is an annuity, and this one may be taken as a present value if you consider from the start of the investment from $5,000 per month. Okay, now what we have to calculate, assuming an annual inflation rate of 2%, what is the purchasing power of the cash available at the retirement? Now what we have to see here, if there is an average inflation of 2%, then what should be the purchasing power of the cash available at the retirement? Okay, so what we can do here, for this one, I will using equation 9.16, the value for this inflation, which is 2%, how many number of years, and that is equal to 40. Then the f value that we have here, f is equal to the final value that we got after the investment, that is $774,000. Okay, now simply we will use this equation here, this equation f dash, which is the future value or the future purchasing power of the cash. Okay, we can have f dash. Now the f that we have after 40 years, that was 774,000, and the inflation, that is almost 2%, and number of years, it is 40. Okay, so we can put the values here in this equation. $774,000 at which was the final value, and then 1 plus 0.02, which is inflation, and 40 for the number of years, so $351,000. So what we see here, the amount of money that we have after the investment after 40 years, we would be having $774,000. Okay, but when we include the inflation up to 2% every year, what we see that the this value would be equivalent to buy something which is of the price $351,000. Okay, so what we see that when we include the inflation, then the actual buying power of this cash would be reduced to $351,000. Okay, because the prices of those things will keep on increasing due to the inflation. So the actual buying power of the money that you would have after 40 years, it would be almost half of the purchasing power of those equipments. Okay, or anything you want to buy. Okay, now for the second part, what is the purchasing power of the retirement income in the first and the 20th year of the retirement? Now we have to calculate the purchasing power of the retirement income in the first and the 20th years. Okay, so the first year here, it would represent you the 41th year, and the 20th year, it will represent you the 60th year. Okay, after the retirement. Okay, what we see here, at the end of 40 years, first year of the retirement, the purchasing power, now this one is the value amount of money that you would have as a final value. Okay, and we want to see that if you are having this one as a final value, then what could be the impact of inflation, and what should be the actual buying power. Okay, so we can use the same equation, f dash. Okay, this one is the f here, and divide by 1 plus inflation with the power 41. So after 41 years, the buying power would be equal to $29,956 per year. Although you can have this amount of money, $67,468, but this money would be equivalent to $29,956 per year when you include the inflation also. Okay, now at the end of 60th year, 20th year after the retirement, the same equation that you have to use. Now we would put this one as a 60 year. After 60 years of the inflation, that would be the buying power, the actual value that you have here after the retirement for per year, that would be having the buying power of only $20,463 per year. Okay, so this is how we can incorporate the inflation. Okay, now the amount invested, so how much money, so the amount of mass invested represent you the amount of money invested in 40 years. So $5,000, if you simply deposit for 40 years, that would be equal to $200,000. Okay. Now what we see here, after like when you make the investment, and from that investment you have got like the final amount $774,000. Okay, but when we include the inflation, then the buying power of this $774,000, it would be equivalent to only $351,000 respectively. Okay, so here you can see a very good example that the money that you have today, it will worth less in the future. Okay, so it is better that you make the investment to keep on increase this future value of the money. Okay, now example 9.19 reveals that the consequence of inflation, it showed that the actual income received in the retirement, it is $67,468 per year, had a purchasing power equivalent to 29,956 and 20,563 at the time the initial investment was made. Okay, so this was the amount when you can have this the actual purchasing power in the year 41, and this one is the purchasing power after the year 60. Although you can have this much like the saving or the annuity that you can get, but due to the inflation you can have the buying power equivalent to this money only. Okay, because the prices of the equipments have increased. Okay, this does not come close to $50,000 per year base salary at that time. Now what we see here, the base salary of that person, it was $50,000 per year, and now it is the spending that you can see here, it will be very less. Okay, so when you include the inflation, like after 20 and the 40 years, 40 and the 60 years, the value that you would be getting, it would not be enough to buy something which is worth $50,000 per year. Okay, so there is a clear or maybe more than 40 to 50% depreciation of the cash or the purchasing value of that cash. Okay, to increase this value, you would have to increase one or more of the following. So what you can do here, the amount of investment. So how you can increase this number here to get like close to the $50,000 or more. Maybe you can increase the amount of money that you're investing. Okay, maybe instead of $5,000 you invest $6,000 or $7,000 per year. This is how you can increase these numbers or this number. The interest rate of the investment, or maybe if you are making you are like putting this one money in some investment, then you can either increase the rate of interest. Okay, to increase this money, the time over which the investment was made. Okay, and then you have to see what is the investment time. If you increase the number of years, then obviously it can return you more money. Okay, the effects of inflation should not be overlooked in any decisions involving investments, because inflation is influenced by politics, future world events, and so on. It is hard to predict. In this book, inflation will not be considered directly, and cash flows will be considered to be the uninflated dollars. Okay, so usually when you make the actual analysis, it is better that you include the inflation to get the realistic figures, but for the sake of calculation in this book, it will just ignore the inflation in most part of the questions. Okay, now let us solve this example here. A plant was built in 1955 at $1.2 million. At the same year, a gift of same amount was invested at the market rate of 8% per annum. Inflation is 6% from year 1955 to 2010. Now find the effective interest rate including the effect of inflation. So first of all, we have to calculate the effective interest rate. Now the formula for the effective interest rate that we have seen earlier, I dash, that is equal to I, which is interest minus inflation divided by 1 plus F. So you can calculate this one. The effective interest rate, it would be equal to almost 1.89%. Okay, the actual interest rate was 8%, but when you include the inflation, then we see that the effective interest rate, it will just fall maybe 6 points. Okay, now the second part, How much the gift worth in 2010 without the effect of inflation? Now we have to see that what is the future value of this money in the year 2010 without including the inflation. So what we can do here, we will use a simple compound interest rate formula, okay, without including the inflation, that is equal to P, which is the present value 1 plus I is the interest rate 0.08, and the number of years 55. So you can see the difference here, 2010 minus 1955, that makes 55 years, so we can put 55 here. So the future value, it will be equal to $82.696 million, okay, almost. Now the third part, how much the gift will worth in 2010 in terms of 1955 purchasing power, okay. Now when it comes to the purchasing power, then you have to consider what should be the inflation also. Now this is an equation that we can use for the inflation also, that will represent the actual purchasing power. Now here F dash, which is the future purchasing power that you are going to calculate, the future value that we have just calculated here, okay, without including the inflation, 1 plus F with the power n. Now what is an inflation that is given to you in the question? That is almost 6%, okay. This one is the 6% that we have to include here. Number of years, so that is 55, I have just shown you, okay. So you can solve this equation to get the value for the actual purchasing power, which is equal to $3.3 million respectively, okay. So you can see the huge difference here, okay. So when you do not include the inflation, the value is so high, and when you include the inflation, then the value become very low, okay. So from here you can have like the simple analysis, okay. So if you are going to buy something for $1,000 today, and if you do not make the appropriate investment, maybe after 55 years you have to spend maybe $15,000 to buy the same item, okay. So that will represent you the future actual purchasing power. So the purchasing power would be decreased with the number of years when we include the inflation. Now let us solve these two examples. Actually, I will give you some idea about these two examples, but you have to solve it by yourself, okay? If $1,000 was invested in the government bonds in 1934, how much it will worth in 2004? Okay, so this one is a simple equation that you can use to get the amount of money in 2004, given that the bonds averaged 6% return per year, okay. So this one is an interest rate, okay, that you would have, and the average inflation is 4.5% from 1934 to 2004, okay. So you have to see that how much it worth in the year 2004 by including the inflation also, and you are also provided with the value for the interest rate, okay. So it is quite simple. Second example, $1,000 worth of bonds were buried in the backyard of in 1934. Average inflation was 4.5% from 1934 to 2004. What was the relative purchasing power of the bond? Okay, so simply there was some bond having $1,000 worth, and you simply put it into the backyard for maybe how many years? 2004 minus 34, maybe 70 years. Now, what was the relative purchasing power? So obviously, it will be very much decreased. Okay, so you have to see that what is the future or the purchasing power of those bonds. If $1,000 was invested in the stock market in 1934, how much it will worth in 2004? Given that stock market increased an average of 15%. Okay, so 15% is an interest rate in the stock market. So if you put that money into the stock market for 70 years, then what could be the purchasing power of that money in the year 2004? Okay, so these are the simple like the examples that will include that will use the simple formula for the estimating the future purchasing power when you include the inflation, and if you do not include the inflation, then simple compound interest equation would be used, okay. So you can use you can solve these two questions by yourself, okay. And next time we will inshallah start with the depreciation.